Hey everybody, how's it going? My name's Halen, and welcome to Halen's Haven. A while ago, I did an interview with Awake at Night about the closure and the follow-up from Mixer, and I wanted to sort of follow up on that format because it got some positive reception from those I spoke to about it. And when I decided that I wanted to bring it back, there was one person that I really wanted to have on because I loved her energy, I loved her stream, and I thought we could have a really good conversation. So we're gonna try to do that here today. Today I have LoveLaurenn. Hey Lauren, how you doing?
Hello, I'm happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to finally be able to put this together.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad we could finally align our schedules and work this out. So,
Yeah.
I've never done anything like this before, so it's new to me.
No, I mean, it's totally fine. It's only my second time, so we're gonna get through this together.
Hell yeah.
You're fresh off an Among Us stream. How'd that go?
It went great. Among Us always goes great. Like, it's just a fun game. Some people get really salty about it. You know, it's kind of like the new Monopoly. You ever play Monopoly on Xbox?
Yeah.
Everyone just hated each other, and it just ruined friendships. So it's kind of like that, but the people I play with, we don't take it that seriously. But it went good. It was a good ass game. It always is. Sub Sunday is the best stream I feel like I have every week.
I mean, it's a phenomenal sort of community you've sort of built there. I love just how the banter in between each kill and everything. I think it's really entertaining.
I know, no, that's part of the fun though, is just hearing all the investigative work.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what people come for, and why they watch Among Us is to hear all that.
Yeah, because it
exactly,
certainly
the
doesn't have
banter.
this exciting gameplay element to it.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't, because it's just so basic, running around doing these basic tasks. It's, you know, the commentary and what people are saying. Yeah. For sure.
So I just wanted to sort of start there, actually, because I first discovered you on Mixer back when you were on that platform. And
yes, Mixer.
Mixer, what a story there. But God, man, when I first discovered your stream, I was just very drawn to it. I don't know what it was about it. I don't know if it was like the professional sort of lighting setup you had, which was something I didn't see a lot of. You were somebody, right. How about this? You were somebody who, when I went into your stream and I didn't see your follower count, I thought it would have to be like 10,000 or more. You had that level.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like, I've noticed that on Twitch too. It's kind of been the same thing, as like, I'm good at building a community, and I feel like I keep a really good consistent like viewership because the community members are always coming by. But yeah, it's not really even about follows, you know. Like, I sometimes I look at that number and I'm like, dang, you know, I'm only at like 400 followers right now on Twitch, but at the same time I have really good viewership, so I can't really complain.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and something else I realized is that this was popularly used on Mixer as well, as people use player GG a lot. Which is basically farming follows. So anytime I see, you know, when I go through Twitch and I see people with 10,000 followers but they have 3 viewers, like, you know that people are just trying to cheat the system. But it doesn't help the streamer, you know. You're not putting in that work to build the community to get the viewership, so followers just don't really matter.
No, yeah, like I've seen people with 10,000 followers but only like 200 active viewers. I would much rather have like 400 followers with like 150 active, you know what I mean? You want to have,
no, for sure.
The active viewers are the only thing that matters. You can have the highest numbers you want, and if none of them are active, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's something that was different about Twitch too, is the whole lurking system is different.
Yeah.
Like on Mixer, you could leave someone tabs up, you could leave someone and put their tab up, and you could, you know, mute the tab, turn them off, and they still got the view. But Twitch is over here, like, unless you're actively talking in chat and you can hear the volume of the stream, like, you don't get that view.
That's, yeah.
So you really have to keep on Twitch. I feel like it's a lot more about keeping people entertained and trying to entertain people and having fun. Like, that's another thing, is it's not hard to entertain people if you're having fun.
No, yeah.
Because a lot of times people are entertained by that, you know, if they're sitting at home, they're alone in quarantine, and they see you on a game having fun, like, they're gonna be entertained.
Yeah. I feel like some people take the incorrect route and they'll stream like a popular game that they don't really enjoy, and you can tell. You can just tell they're not having fun.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Some people get stuck in one game. A lot of competitive streamers end up getting kind of stuck in the game because, I mean, if you build your whole following off of one game, then it makes it hard to switch games and then expect to still have the same kind of viewership.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just like, I'm gonna play whatever game I want that is fun for me. Like I like playing the big popular games like Apex and Dead by Daylight, but I like playing I don't know, I just kind of play whatever I want to play because I'm ultimately the one that has to entertain people. So if I'm not having fun on the game, then it's a GG.
Yeah, no, totally. Uh, Going back to sort of your origins of your stream, when was your first stream, sort of time wise? Like what year, what month? Do you remember any of that?
So it was last year in August. I don't remember the exact day I started, but my first stream, it was a Dead by Daylight stream, and I streamed killer gameplay, and the stream was horrible. It was absolutely horrible because it was my first time streaming ever. I was streaming off of my laptop that could barely like handle having a Word document open, let alone Streamlabs. And so my stream was lagging. I think Miss Honey was the first one to have ever raided me, like on Mixer. She came in, gave me a raid. My first stream, I had like the max. I had like 12 viewers that stream for my very first stream on Mixer. So I think I did pretty good that one.
You did. No, you were like, I noticed even myself, I've tried to stream. I've tried. It's just, you don't really know what you're really getting yourself into. You don't know how to refine that until you have some reps in the program.
Right. Yeah, no, it's something that I think a lot of people think it looks really easy, and they're like, oh, it's easy to sit there and just play games, but there's so much more to it than just sitting there and playing games. Like, you got to talk to chat, you got to engage with people, you got to remember people's names. Like, a big part of it is building those relationships, building a rapport. And if people are coming into your stream constantly, you don't even remember who they are, then they're not going to come back.
No, yeah. Like, I hate that. I noticed the other day, you went off on sort of a little tangent in your stream about how it really bugged you when people didn't read their chat when they're playing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that should be obvious, I feel like.
Well, I get it. Like, I get that it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to read your chat, to be competitive, to be good at a game at the same time. But if you're, that's streaming in a nutshell, is reading. It's being able to multitask, reading the chat, engaging in multiple conversations with people, and playing the game, talking to whoever you're playing with, and coordinating with them, and then trying to pull off wins, trying to escape, or trying to win whatever it is to be the champions. And it's hard. It can get stressful. Like, I'm not all peppy, happy-go-lucky on all my streams, but I do my best to not, if I am having a bad day, to not take it out on any of my, anyone in my community.
Yeah.
So
they're choosing in their free time to watch your stream.
Exactly. So I don't want to scare people away, and by not talking to them or being like nasty towards people, they're not gonna.
Why would they come back?
Hang out? Exactly. So. Yeah, I think it's really important to try to focus on everything, and then that's the hard part that people are still practicing, trying to get down. But a lot of those bigger streamers out there that don't read their chat, I don't know what that's like. You know what I mean? Like getting to that level where you just don't care anymore.
Where
you don't
all
care
your
about...
chat's just constant emotes, and you can't even really make out what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I hope that my chat never gets that way where I'm just like looking at it and picking and choosing what I'm reading. Like I want to read all of it, and I want to talk to people, and I want to build relationships. But
would you say building relationships and sort of branching off that, like building a community, would you say that's your main goal when it comes to streaming? Like, is that your sort of creative outlook on it?
It is. It's building a community because we're all into the same shit. We all like gaming, we like streaming, we like watching streamers. Like, I'm big on community, because without a community, I feel like you're just not gonna, people aren't gonna come back to your stream. Like, they want to feel like they belong to something. And when people feel like they belong, like that human, that's really my goal, is like that human connectedness. So,
dude, like, that's one of the things I think you've, dare I say, mastered, because I feel like outside of the stream, obviously we're all very different. We have different tastes, different personalities, but like you just said, we all have so much in common on just such a base level. So if we can get in a chat and all nerd out about the new Apex season or something, I feel like that's incredibly helpful.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, yeah, community is just such a big part of it, especially if you're a new streamer. Like, you gotta network, and building a community is hard. You gotta put in a lot of work. You gotta market yourself. You gotta be on social media. You gotta be messaging people back. You gotta be following people back. You can't just expect everyone to follow you. Like, you gotta put in work. You gotta go into other people's streams and put your name out there.
Yeah.
you got to be a good viewer. I feel like initially you have to be able to be in other people's streams and interact with the chat, because that is what's going to help you build a community, is like socializing, networking with other people, you know, because you could be in someone's stream, in someone else's stream, talking to people in the chat. The streamer might not even be talking to you, but you could talk to other people in the chat, and sometimes people will follow you just based on that.
Yeah, I've had it happen to me. I don't stream and people follow me.
Yeah, I've gotten like 10 follows just off of being in someone's chat one time.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a really big part of it. You got to be social. Like, I don't know many successful streamers that, you know, aren't social in some capacity. Like, you got to be able to talk to people. So,
is there like you said a minute ago about how like you would hang out in other people's chats and sort of just chat with other people and maybe gain a sense of community off that, but do you feel like that's important to do if you're starting out in streaming, because that's a way to sort of, like, if you're setting in rather, like a big streamer stream, like somebody who's good at what they do, you can pick up cues off that can help your stream.
Definitely no, and I've done that. I've been a moderator for really big streamers, you know, like Tangy Sauce. I modded for him, and on Mixer he was pulling in like 300-400 viewers, which for Mixer was huge, you know. But yeah, no, I've learned a lot from him as a competitive gameplay kind of streamer. But he is competitive and he talks his chat at the same time, you know, and he's funny. He does that kind of whole thing, so he gets it. And I've learned a lot of that from him too. Yeah. I've learned not only that, just a lot of like, you can learn really great like pro strats watching some of these really good streamers on how to improve your gameplay. So
damn right. And I need them. I try my best to learn. Like, I don't have time to get on the sticks as much as I want to, but when I do, I pick up legitimate strats from everybody I watch.
Yeah, no, I do too. I'm like, oh my god, that's such a good strat, like pro strats right here. Holy shit. So for Apex, I always do that.
Yeah. Would you say it's difficult to stay motivated? Like when you're streaming, is it difficult maybe if you stream one night and let's say you have an off night and you know it wasn't your best, is it difficult to sort of just blank your mind and go into the next one?
See, when I first started streaming, I used to get really hung up on that, where I'd have like a really good day and then the next stream might not be as great as the previous one. But I kind of go into it as like, if I didn't have such a super great stream, then I'm like, well, it's okay, because there's going to be tomorrow, or there's going to be another day that I'm going to stream. And you always have a chance to have a better stream anyways after that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
like
absolutely.
So you can improve it. You can do, you know, add more content, do more networking.
You need to have some of those experiences to learn.
You do, definitely. And it used to be hard for me to bounce back. I used to take it kind of personally, like if people didn't come back or whatever. But now since moving to Twitch, I have a completely different outlook on streaming in terms of that. I'm just kind of do my best to stay positive, and I know that realistically not everybody can be there every single stream. So if I even just have, you know, a small fraction, even just my mods in there, like I'm happy. Like, you know, I try not to look at the viewer count. Streamlabs, the viewer count is always off by how many, you know, people, and it's never until I go to look at the channel analytics after the fact to see, you know, what my average viewership was. But no, yeah, I try not to get hung up on it.
Was the transition from Mixer to Twitch hard for you personally, or did you just view it as, all right, we're just gonna move and I'm gonna keep going?
Oh yeah, no, I was like, nope, we're moving homes and we're gonna keep going. Like luckily I had a Discord, and I had a lot of my community members were all in that Discord. So when we moved over to Twitch, it was a pretty smooth transition. You know, I got like my initial community members that followed me, like the people who are there all the time, they all followed me. Some of the random stragglers, you know, we've lost along the way. But it's okay, because Twitch is full of people, full of all these new people that I haven't ever met. It's the biggest streaming platform, so I'm only going to continue to keep meeting more great people, you know?
Yeah, I feel like if Mixer and the tight community you created, if all the Mixer creators did not stick together, it would have been bad. Like it could have, everyone could have been so separated, and there would be just disjointment amongst the community. It would have just been awful.
Yeah. Well, and there's some people that I didn't follow, like moving over to Twitch, but then I ended up finding them again. And so that was really cool. Oh, as soon as I found out that Mixer was shutting down, I made the switch like the next day.
I noticed, because for those who don't know, I'm not gonna
waste my time.
I'm in Lauren's community. I'm a regular in her stream, and out of everybody impacted by the Mixer shutdown, you were the one person who didn't seem really bothered by it at all. Like, everyone else was
No,
pretty doom and
wasn't.
gloom about it, but you just went after it.
Yeah. You know, dude, I had 1,200 followers. And I was so proud of that. I was like, you know, a little under 800 away from trying to apply for partner.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just no coming over to Twitch, it was so great because I'd never been to Twitch before, and it's so amazing. Like, why didn't anybody tell me how great Twitch was? Like, it's so helpful. There's so many tools to help streamers. Like, they have this little achievement system for streaming to get affiliate, to get partner, and that kind of helps keep you motivated too, because you kind of like, you want to see your numbers go up. But no, it was an easy switch. Like, Mixer felt like, you know, Windows 99, and Twitch felt like Windows 10.
There we go. That's a big jump.
It is. No, I felt like it was such a big it was a big difference for me in terms of the community and of the platform.
Yeah. Is there anything from Mixer you miss? How they operated?
The only thing I miss about Mixer is being able to drop GIFs in chat, like being able to just like be silly and use your points for that. But no, I don't really miss Mixer, like not even a little.
The only thing I can think of is that the other day we were talking about Hype Zone. We miss Hype Zone.
Yes, I do miss Hype Zone. That was cool. A lot of people started streaming out of the hopes of getting Hype Zone so that they could get more follows, but you know, that doesn't always happen.
No.
Like, I've sat in the Hype Zone, you know, chats, and sometimes people just like to watch it. They like to lurk, and they don't really want to follow people, per se.
Yeah,
but it was a lot of fun.
Hype Zone and Apex, you were just, like, that's the gameplay you want to see. You want to see the end game. So if you're watching Hype Zone, you're seeing constant good gameplay.
No, yeah, it was perfect. Like, because no one likes to watch the beginning of the game. We all want to watch the last 3.
Nobody wants to watch you loot for 5 minutes and find just 1 or 2 blue armors, and that's about it.
Yeah, and then just to run into an enemy team and die. Like, yeah, no, everyone likes to watch that. So I think that would be something cool that Twitch could do in the future. If they had some hype zones for games, I think that would be really cool. And it helps streamers, so. It
definitely, it shined the light on plenty of streamers nobody would have ever heard of. It was just it was a nice sort of, I don't know, pedestal to be put on. Because if you're a streamer that's getting 6 views and you're getting like 76 all of a sudden, that's huge.
Oh yeah, and before, when I first started streaming, Hype Zone used to be like 200 plus people.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you're sitting there, you know, you got 6 viewers, and all of a sudden you get hosted by Hype Zone, get like 200. And even if it is just for like 10 minutes, it's like the best 10 minutes of your life.
If even 2 or 3 people come back after that,
I know. Yeah, so if you can make an impression on people in that small scope of time that you have, then yeah, you might get some follows on it. But that would be cool if Twitch did add something like that.
You were somebody who, I loved the variety of your stream. You had the ASMR streams, you had the art streams, you do a lot of gaming streams now. Was there a particular branch of that you enjoy doing more than the other ones?
I would say gaming has been my favorite, and that's why I ultimately kind of strayed away from the other categories. I love ASMR, don't get me wrong, but it's not, I honestly just don't have the patience to do it all the time. And it costs a lot of money, you know. There's really nice microphones, but then having to buy all of this stuff to do the ASMR, and then only just, you know, to have people troll me the entire time, which is exactly what was happening with ASMR. But on Mixer, nobody knew what it was. On Twitch, it's its own gigantic category of, you know, streamers that, you know, that's strictly what they do. But and in terms of art was just always a hobby that I enjoyed, and I wanted to kind of share that with other people and maybe help them find their kind of artistic side or inspire them to do something with art. And in some people I did. But I just started focusing more on games, because games is where I had fun. And gaming is a coping mechanism for me in itself, to just kind of help distract me from all the shit that's going on around me. And totally, I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Undeniable the impact gaming's had on my life. Yeah,
absolutely. It's just a great escape, you know?
Oh, it's one of the best. It's my favorite form of entertainment, because the interactivity, the community, it's unbelievable.
It is.
One of the things people can sort of take note about you whenever they see you in or out of your stream is sort of your love for tattoos and body art.
Yeah.
What would you describe as your philosophy behind body art?
Oh god, my philosophy. Okay, my philosophy is don't modify your bodies to offend other people. So if you're gonna modify your body, you're gonna have tattoos, you're gonna have piercings, like make sure you're not, like, just don't offend people with your body art. And I say that because there's that it enforces a stereotype about people with tattoos. If you have those kinds of tattoos, it enforces a stereotype that we're, criminals, or that
You're sort of a hateful kind, which is obviously not true.
Yeah, I mean, I even just read this study about how people think women with tattoos are more promiscuous, and I'm like, but why?
Yeah,
because
why?
we have tattoos? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And so, but yeah, like, for me, I personally just like wearing art. I love art. It's a big part of me, and I've always seen my body as a canvas.
I totally get that. I don't have any tats
and
myself, but I've always wanted to deep dive into tattoos. I just want to make sure I know where to start.
The hardest part is starting.
Yeah.
Once you start, people get so stuck on what they're gonna pick, for their first tattoo and what they're gonna do, and it doesn't even really need to be that complicated. Like, I always tell people, like, get something that speaks to you, that speaks to your soul in some way, and something that you're okay with having on you for the rest of your life. Like, if you're worried about it being on you for the rest of your life, then don't even bother getting a tattoo. Like just don't even bother, because it's if you go looking at it like that, you're gonna have a rough time with tattoos, because if it does, you're gonna have these really high expectations. You might get a tattoo that you don't necessarily like. It could scare you away from getting tattoos.
It's gonna set yourself up for failure if you're thinking, well, 10 years down the road, I'm gonna be in this situation, and that's gonna reflect bad on me if I have this on my body.
Yeah, so, like, I've just always kind of been like, express yourself, be who you want to be. If you want a wolf on your arm, then get a fucking wolf on your arm. Like, get a badass, do your research, find an artist, and get a badass tattoo that makes you feel good. And that's what it does for me too, is having tattoos makes me feel beautiful. It makes me feel confident. And if other people could feel what I feel, then they, through tattoos, then I would encourage them to get tattoos. I'm like, do it. If it makes you feel good, if it makes you feel powerful, get a tattoo.
My fiance actually recently started getting tattoos. She got 3 recently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, once again, I'm not there yet. I'm not ready yet. Eventually I will get there. But for her, even the few she has, even though they're small, like, they empower her.
Yeah, absolutely. And some people, have tattoos that have specific meaning to them that can empower them too throughout the day. It's a reminder or whatever it may be. So I definitely encourage people to get tattoos. Yeah, just don't get anything offensive. I mean, most tattoo artists won't do anything offensive anyways. Most artists have decently high standards on what they will and will not tattoo, but yeah. No, I encourage body art. I love it, and I wish that it was more socially acceptable by professionals.
I really do too. I don't see anything wrong with it. I see it as somebody, as long as they're not using it to put hateful imagery on them. Like, I can't see any way that could tell you anything about a person unless you actually get to know the person.
Exactly. No, yeah, and people, that's what's unfortunate. I think it's just going to take a while. It's going to take, our generation, millennials, to get into these higher power, positions, for instance, like in these supervisory positions. And before, I think it'll really start becoming more socially acceptable to have body art. I think a lot of these senior people still have that stereotype in their head that we're criminals, we're promiscuous, that we do drugs, whatever it is.
No, I mean, like, I was somebody who, when I managed the store on my previous job, it was so backwards and so sort of repressive about what you could do to express yourself. It was frustrating for me, and I didn't even have tattoos. But if we had somebody who came in and had like a small tattoo on their arm, they legitimately had to cover it up, or they couldn't work. And that's just insane to me.
Yeah, it is. No, it's insane. Like, that's why, and that's exactly why they tell you to never get a neck tattoo or to not get hand tattoos, is because it's going to be hard to get a job. Well, I mean, it's hard to get a job even without tattoos. So I think depending who you are, like, that's one thing I can understand. Like, if you have a felony record or something like that, don't get more tattoos in areas that you're just going to put yourself at a disadvantage. Like, if you have a felony record and you go and you're trying to get a job, you decide to get a neck tattoo, don't. because you're already putting, you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
So, but I'm over here like I'm a free spirit, and I just do what I want. Like one day I was like, I want to get my neck tattooed, and I want to get my chest and all this. I just want to be covered in tattoos, and that's what I've always wanted. That's what I think is beautiful. And so yeah, to people who want tattoos, go for it. Do you and express yourself.
I'm somebody who always digs the art on other people. Like, I think you and the layout you have so far, I think it's awesome. I think you have really rad tattoos.
Thanks.
What do you think? I have to ask this question. As the first time of interviewing somebody who has tattoos, I have to ask the question: What is the most painful spot for you to get tattooed?
My most painful spot to get tattooed was my neck.
I would imagine.
That was very painful. So we did the line work first, which took 4 hours, and then the shading took another 4 hours. So shading for me has never been an issue. Shading is like, it's a different kind of needle. It's like multiple needles they use for shading. It's like multiple in one, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And it's more kind of superficial, but the line work is a singular, deeper needle that goes into you to kind of draw out those lines. The line work they basically trace their stencil is what they're doing. Yeah. And that process is the most painful. Really, I mean, for me, it was the most painful. And then on my neck, towards like the 3rd or 4th hour, I had this habit of just like my shoulders were in my ears.
Oh,
because
God.
I did, and it was just a natural reaction after a while. She was like, Lauren, you got to put your shoulders down. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Looking like a turtle.
Yeah, I was really pulling, like reaching to a higher power to get through that experience, because honestly, when it was happening, I can't describe it other than it's what I imagine it would feel like to have my neck sliced.
Oh God.
Over and over again, because it felt like someone was taking like a razor blade to my neck. And yeah, that was not a very great experience. No, but hey, I did it. Get mad street cred for sitting through that shit. I know a lot of people look at me like, God damn, she got a neck tattoo, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's right, I sat through that shit. I endured a lot of fucking pain.
I don't like. There's 95% of people couldn't handle that shit, so you should be proud of them.
No, yeah, they could not. That's what my tattoo artist says. She's like, Lauren, you get mad street cred for doing this, because I had no doubt that was painful. She's like, I'm surprised you didn't punch me, and I'm like, honestly, same.
Honestly,
like,
same.
I was clenched so hard, Halen. I was clenching the table so hard with my elbows in my ears that I had a cramp from clenching like a day after the fact.
Oh.
Yeah.
God. I'm envisioning this whole session in my head, and it's pretty entertaining. I mean,
it was.
I'd imagine it's very painful.
To think that that was a stream that I was gonna put on Twitch.
Was it really?
Not on Twitch, on Mixer, I think it was. Yeah, it was Mixer. I was going to stream getting the tattoo, and I'm so glad that I did not, because you guys would have been laughing at me the whole time, and it would have been a nightmare.
Do you think you could have interacted with the chat in that sort of state?
No, there's no way. I wouldn't have even looked at the chat. You guys would have just been watching me squirm the whole time. There's no way.
Somebody would have donated some like bits or embers or whatever. You'd be like, I don't care.
Yeah. I couldn't do it. Like, I thought about it too, and my tattoo artist was like, yeah, good thing we didn't stream that. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's a good thing.
Do you have the same artist for all your tats?
No. So I just got a new artist who's going to be starting the portrait work that I'm getting all over my legs. And he's a really amazing artist. He's actually on YouTube. He's been in some of those Inked where they like interview tattoo artists.
I've seen some of those.
Yeah, so he was actually on there, and he's a really good portrait artist. So he's one that's gonna start working on me. Katrina, who I have now, she's done this tattoo on my forearm. She's done my neck and my chest, and she did like she fixed my upper arm here, because I had this tattoo artist that did it, but then he ended up hitting on me.
Oh.
And was trying to sleep with me, and I was like, yeah, this is really unprofessional, and I don't want anything to do with you.
Uncomfortable. You can...
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck, dude? So she ended up fixing the tattoo for me, because he didn't do anything that I wanted in the tattoo. So she fixed it for me. And then the tattoo, the back piece that I have, was done by a guy in California before I moved.
Wow. Is your current
Yeah.
tattoo layout, like what you have right now, is that something you've had in your mind for so many years, or is it something that's sort of ever
No.
changing?
No, it's ever changing. I have no idea what my layout is gonna eventually look like. I
Mm.
just know when I see something, I like it, and I like a certain like I don't know. Honestly, Halen, I think it's just gonna evolve as I get older, and I'm just filling up the
I
space
think
with
that's kind of
art.
cool. Like it tells a story
Yeah, it
if your style
does.
changes.
It does. And I can one day hopefully have a picture of all my different stages in the tattoos that I've had and just post a time lapse or something. That would be so
That would be
cool.
badass. It really would.
Oh, what a good idea. But yeah.
But
No, I have no idea.
so that the portrait work you were talking about, you already have your next tattoo in mind?
Yes. December 4th I'm getting like a leg sleeve done.
Wow.
Well, I'm getting it started.
That's fair. Is getting
Yeah,
is
and
tattoo like getting tattoo work done in the COVID pandemic, is that a difficult thing?
honestly, no. The tattoo shops that I go to have always been super clean.
Mm.
My artist actually has had COVID before at the very beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So she's super cautious about. She wears, like her N whatever mask, and she's constantly cleaning stuff. She's on everybody else's case about wearing a mask. But where I'm at, you can only get an appointment, and it's like one person in the shop at a time.
Oh yeah.
So you're not really exposed to anybody besides the tattoo artist, and they're constantly rubbing you down with, like all these disinfectants every time. Every time she's going, she's wiping it, and she's cleaning it, and she's constantly cleaning the tattoo area, which you have to be careful because a tattoo, you got to treat it like a wound, and that's what a lot of people don't get. They'll go out in the water, they'll go jump in a lake and it gets infected. Well, I'm like, yeah, it's an
Yeah.
open wound.
No, yeah,
You just
they
got
think as soon as that ink's done, they think, "Oh, we're good. I did
no,
it.
yeah, it's
I've
terrible.
won."
No, you have to take care of it. And aftercare is everything. It's, whether or not your tattoo is going to look great or if it's going to look like shit.
Mm.
So if you take care of it and do all the aftercare steps, which if you do it right, it'll heal in like a week.
Yeah.
Which I've like kind of perfected my healing process at this point. I know when to wash it, and I wash like every 6 hours with disinfectant. When I get a new tattoo, I'll wash it every 6 hours with warm water and like Dawn disinfectant soap. And then I will dry it with a clean cloth. Just dab it. I don't wipe it, right? You just dab it a little bit till it's dry.
That's one thing
and
I learned from Kiara. When she was doing the
Yeah.
aftercare for her tattoo, she was like, "I gotta dab it. I gotta use this particular thing. I gotta apply it here." It's just
Yeah, you don't want to wipe it because it'll pull when it's healing, it starts clotting in those areas, and if you pull at the ink, it'll actually pull ink out of your tattoo.
jeez.
So you don't want to do that because then you'll end up having like you might end up having patchy lines or areas where it's just like not even. So aftercare is everything. I use Aquaphor, which is basically like Vaseline.
That
It's
is
just like a
actually
big
that is
tub.
what Kiara got. Yeah, Aquaphor.
Yeah, Aquaphor, and I put a thin layer on. I don't do it too much because it can stain your clothes if you're not careful. But yeah, and you treat it like a wound. You clean it, you take care of it, you protect it from the sun, you protect it from elements and from people touching it. You don't want your dog licking it or anything like that. So it's hard. Aftercare for back tattoos is probably the hardest. Like when I got my back tattoo, I was using a spatula. Like
I was about to say that's gotta be difficult to manage for yourself.
Yeah, I had no joke. It was like one of those cake batter spatulas you can scrape out bowls, and I just had like I smacked some Vaseline on my back and just wiping that shit all down my back.
God.
Yeah, because if you have no one to help you, what else are you gonna do?
Man. But once again, your body art, in a weird way, your body art inspires me to get body art. I know that sounds very odd, but I think
that's cool.
I think that yours, it's very well done. It's very well thought out. Obviously, you take care of it so it looks good, very colorful, especially like the neck tattoo. I think it just pops whenever somebody enters your stream. It immediately pops.
It's like boom. Yeah, the red. I really like red. It's my favorite like power color. So that's why I just get little red accents everywhere. But no, I appreciate that. I'm glad that it inspires you to get art because you should. I think your body is your canvas. It's your vessel, and it's yours while you're here.
Yeah.
So I think of it as like if you were to decorate your room or you moved into a home, like you moved into a new home and were to decorate the house. That's kind of how I see my vessel.
Yeah, you don't have to get tatted up, but there's no reason not to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
unless you just hate needles, then probably, you know.
If you hate needles, or if you're if you're going to use it for some nefarious means, like you're going to put some hate symbol on you, don't do that. But otherwise, absolutely, if you want to express yourself and go down that path, you would recommend it.
Absolutely.
So, going back a little bit further, back to your art streams on Mixer, I was doing a deep dive on your Instagram to prepare for this whole thing, because I do my research, okay? Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the series Hot Ones starring Sean Evans.
I have,
but
yes.
Sean Evans is an immaculate interviewer, and I just appreciated his segments where he deep dives on people's Instagrams. So I did that for you, but I'm not going to have you describe this gram or describe that gram. Okay. What I did notice was just some of the insane art you've done, like the Batman and Catwoman, the little Peep drawing, the drawing of Jackson. Just, there are so many that I thought were really impressive. And I wanted to sort of touch on your background with art for a second. Was there a particular age, I guess, that you decided to start sketching more?
I was 4 when I first started sketching. Mm-hmm. And it was an escape for me. It was actually just not only an escape, it was a great way for me to express how I felt in a safe way.
Oh yeah.
You know, like sometimes you can't feel like you can talk to people around you, or you feel lonely, and you don't necessarily want to write it in a journal, and I didn't, you know, I didn't want to ever write down my feelings. I mean, I was 4, so drawing was easier too. But yeah, no, one of the first drawings I did was like in this little like blank kind of sketchbook diary. It was like a diary form, but it had no lines, and I just drew people. And I didn't draw stick figures either. That's what's interesting. I drew them just how I thought they would be, you know, just kind of like these basic human figures, almost like South Park characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I remember my mom being like, wow, you're an amazing artist, when I was really little, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
And
thanks.
Yeah, and it just kind of took off from there, you know. Every art class I was in school, I was always got an A. They were always showcasing my art. I was like the best in the class. And then my mom started entering me into all these contests for art. And I won a lot of the contests. I have like this big best in show ribbon and stuff. But no, yeah, it started really young, and that's why I tell people, like, if you want to learn, you can start at any time, but you got to practice. So I've had a lot of years of just practicing random drawing and developing kind of my skill in what I like, which is realism. I like drawing real stuff.
So you still sketch? Are there things that like inspire you to sketch now?
So the things that inspire me to sketch now it's really emotion driven.
Yeah.
So if I'm feeling a certain way, or I'm feeling bad, or I want to express how I'm feeling, like in a safe space, then that's where I go to draw. So it's become purely a coping mechanism for me at this point. It's not really something that I do like for fun. Like I don't just like whip out my sketchbook and start doing it, but I definitely use it kind of like a diary. Like when you feel like you need to write, I do that with sketching.
I totally get that. If I had any sort of penmanship whatsoever, I would draw a lot more. But if I try to like draw like a cartoon duck, I get too frustrated. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah, drawing lessons help. I don't know if you've ever taken drawing tutorials.
I need to take drawing lessons. I really do.
Yeah, so I mean, even on YouTube, you could teach yourself how to draw just by watching people's tutorials, learning like just how to draw basic figures. Because once you get the motion down, like your hand, you'll start getting better. Just drawing shapes and seeing things more with shapes. That's what it's about initially, is seeing the shape that you're drawing. Like if you're drawing a person, you got to look at the shape of their head, the shape of their jaw, and you want to draw those shapes, and then you kind of want to hone in on the details later.
Yeah,
but you just got to kind of draw the general shape. Yeah, and that's how most people start. You got to draw the shape. Me, on the other hand, I kind of just go for it, but that's because I learned a different way than drawing with shapes. I still see the shapes, but I actually just freehand it and eyeball it.
See, that takes mad talent. Like I couldn't dream. Like I can understand the shape thing, but if you ask me to just freehand, like, hey Halen, draw me right now, I'd be like, okay, this is gonna look very weird. Just bear with me.
So that's where I think just the years of drawing has come in handy. I've just kind of learned I have the spatial perception for drawing. Yeah. So
is there a particular drawing that you can think of or that comes to mind that you would describe as your best work?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's kind of a tie, but I think one of the best ones I did was I did a drawing of the Reaper. and within his body he had like these different faces and like these souls that were kind of trapped in his musculature.
Yeah.
And he was like muscular but skeleton kind of reaper, had his big old scythe, you know, and then he was holding a lantern, or not a lantern, a time, one of these things that you use to flip over with the sand kind of thing. What's called? I have one.
God.
Yeah, I have one sitting on my desk right now, but I had
Oh
him.
my God.
I know.
I was just trying to think of that word.
I'm showing a video. It's one of these things, but he was drawing, or I drew him with one of those, and
an hourglass.
No, it turned out. Yes, an hourglass. Thank you. How did we not know that?
I don't know, man. You should have saw my face. I mean, God, I was so focused.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what is that? But yeah, no, that was one of my top drawings. I think the second one would have been actually this big collage drawing I did. I know that sounds weird, but like imagine a collage, a bunch of pictures together, but someone drawing it instead of putting a bunch of pictures down. So I did one in it was a while ago. It was in my AP World History class. We had to do something for World War II, and so I did, you know, I did one with Hitler on there, and then I did this quote from Anne Frank, and the quote was in clouds of smoke, which the smoke was coming from bodies that were burning.
Yeah.
And it was like this huge, just beautiful a piece that I did. And honestly, not only did it have, you know, a lot of meaning behind it itself in terms of what it was representing, but it was just a really amazing piece of art that I did for being like 14. And dude, I ended up entering that piece into the county fair, and I won best of show at the county fair, so that was cool.
God, do you have all of your art somewhere, or is it just sort of scattered about?
I don't. It is scattered. My mom has some of it that she's framed. I've draw people. Like I had this trend for a while where I was drawing things and gifting it to people. So my mom has all of like the stuff I've ever drawn for her, and she's, you know, framed it and put it on her wall or whatever. Yeah. But no, I have a lot of drawings that are all pretty up there in terms of just looking amazing, you know, like they turned out really, really good. But I'd say those are my best ones for sure.
God, it's if I had the talent to draw, like I was saying a minute ago, I would have nailed the holiday season every year. Because I always wanted to do something that was more personal, that I could do, that could stand out, apart from like buying a gift card from a store. If you draw somebody a picture, that means a lot. Yeah,
and so that was my mentality. I'm like, okay, great. I don't have to spend money. I'm spending time. And so
time's a lot more valuable than money.
Yeah, and by the time I got into high school, people recognized that I was good at drawing, and I had teachers and even my bus driver asked me to draw them something for their loved ones for Christmas. And so I ended up doing commissions when I was just in high school.
Oh, you were making bank. Cool.
Yeah, no. I mean, I was only charging like $20 a picture, but I was like, for a high school kid, I was 14 at the time. I was happy with that.
Hey, for best in show, as you just described yourself, $20 is a bargain. Because I've got some custom art done recently. That shit can be pretty expensive. Rightfully so, because I'm sure it takes an enormous amount of time and concentration.
Well, I think digital art, if you're really good with digital art, it doesn't take as much time as like drawing by hand, like mechanically drawing, but yeah, it takes time, it takes skill. Art is definitely tough, and not everybody has the like capacity to produce really good art. So no, it's definitely a skill that I'm proud to have under my buckle, you know.
Now, I'm a dog lover. I love canines. I've always had a canine companion by my side pretty much my entire life. When looking back at your Instagram, I noticed Jackson popping up a lot. Yeah. Obviously, he's the goodest boy. But for the uninitiated, what breed is Jackson, and how long has he been in your life?
Jackson is a German Shepard, and he's 13 years old. He's been in my life since 2012. So he's been around for a minute. Yeah, I got him when I lived in California, and I got him because I was lonely. I was really lonely. I really wanted to have a dog, a companion, someone to like. I talk about Jackson like he's a person, but
I do the same thing with my dog.
Some animal to just like love me and me love them, and we could go on walks.
Unconditionally, by the way.
Yeah, unconditionally, right?
Animals aren't going to
I
judge you.
grew up with dogs, and they're always happy to see you when you come home. You know, like dogs they love you no matter what. Like you said, unconditionally. So I got Jackson. He actually wasn't even adoptable. It was weird. I saw him online and thought he was the cutest fucking dog I've ever seen. He had this like little bow tie on, you know. So I saw that they were having open adoptions on Saturday. So I was like, okay, great, I'm gonna go. So I went. I drove an hour and a half there. It was outside of Sacramento to this. It was like a dog rescue / dog training place where the lady rescued. Like, basically, she only rescued German Shepherds, Pit Bulls, Rottweilers, really aggressive breeds, and she'd retrain them. She even trained police dogs, so she was really good with training dogs, especially ones who are kind of more aggressive and working dogs. And I got there, and they told me that he wasn't up for adoption, and that was a mistake, and they took him off the website.
Pissed.
Yeah, so I was like, what do you mean? Like, I saved the picture on my phone. I had screenshotted it. And so I went in there with the picture. I was like, where's this dog? I looked up on the adoption board and I didn't see him there. Did someone adopt him? And the lady, Renee, who owned it, she was like, no, he's not, you know, you can't adopt him. And I was like, well, can I at least see him? Like, I came all the way out here to see him. If he's not for adoption, can I at least see him and meet him? And she said, I guess. Like, she was actually really rude.
That sounds
rude.
She
was very rude. And so I went outside. She said that she would bring him. So she brought him outside, and she immediately yelled at me for the way I greeted him, which was I knelt down on the ground and, like, you know, put my hands out. She's like, you never greet a German Shepherd like that. And dude, she was scolding me. And but Jackson was cool with me. Like, he sniffed me, he let me pet him, and he was nice. And then, you know, she showed me how to walk him properly, which I guess is on the left side. Dog has to be on the left side. And she, like, was just yanking at his collar so he didn't pull, and she's just training him, you know. And she let me take him for a walk, and I ended up spending like 3 or 4 hours with Jackson on her property that day at the rescue. And she let me take him home.
Hey!
She was like, she's like, I've never seen him interact so well with somebody before. And she's like, if you want him, then I feel okay with you taking him as long as you come to training.
Yes.
And I said, okay. Cause she's like, cause this dog will kill for you. Like, he will literally protect you with his life. And she's like, and you'll know what I mean if you ever see it. And I have seen that day. And Jackson is definitely a diehard, just big love bug, but he's a protector, you know? So, and I'm thankful for him. He has PTSD also. So him and I feel like we bonded over that. Like, him and I just both having these kind of like emotional ups and downs. And I think Jackson was just happy to, like, finally be in a home where he felt loved.
I was happy. Like, I didn't know where that story was going to go. I was hoping you would just immediately get him. I didn't know if you'd have to go on this multi-month trek to get Jackson.
Oh, God.
But
it was a little bit, because I had to go to the training. She said if I didn't come to the training that she was going to call me and that she was going to show up at my house. I had to give her my address. Yeah, I'm serious. She told me, like, that if I wasn't responsible, she was going to take him back. Like, she made that very clear. And so I was like, okay.
This lady seems just dedicated to her job. She has a strict set of rules, and you're gonna follow them, or you're gonna give Jackson back.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, she was great. I understand why she's like that, because she works with dogs that are aggressive, and she doesn't want to see them get put down, and she doesn't want to see them end up back at her rescue, you know. So yeah, I did what I was supposed to do, and then I got to take Jackson. Ever since then, he's been great, besides with other people. It's always a problem.
So it is hard to adjust him to other people when they first come around?
He's very aggressive. Like, she wasn't wrong. Like, she was right to act the way she did, because he's very aggressive. And after him and I really bonded, he became more aggressive just towards people. He just always wanting to protect me. Yeah. So yeah, needless to say, new people meet him with the muzzle on, no question. I don't care how comfortable you are with dogs and how many German Shepherds you've grown up with. You haven't grown up with this one.
No.
So we're putting
he will
a muzzle
snatch
on
your
him.
shit up if you even look at me the wrong way.
I mean, he will try and attack you with the muzzle on. So, like, if he gets one kind of, like, sideways glance from you, he doesn't like the way you look at him, or you walk the wrong way, like, I still don't even understand how he picks and chooses people to be nice to, or why he's cool with some people, but I've noticed it's just a lot about how people carry themselves. So if you come into my house, for instance, and you're really tall, you're acting kind of dominant, if you're putting your palm down on Jackson's head when you first meet him, he's gonna want to rip your throat out. He's gonna be like, did you just dominate me in my own home?
Who are you?
Yeah, he's like, this is not gonna stand, you know. And he'll jump on people and he'll push you with his snout. He'll like try to snap at you. So I leave the muzzle on, and unless and I leave it on until whoever the person is that's new, until they feel comfortable. I let them take the muzzle off when they feel comfortable. That's
definitely wise. I've never had that much space to operate with, so I've had multiple dogs that have always been very small. I want to get a big dog one day, one yeah, Jackson-esque size.
Yeah, no, German Shepherds are great. They're loyal. They will, you know, I've never had a dog like a German Shepherd like Jackson. Like, they're just amazing dogs, and I can't, you know, I don't know. I just don't think I can go back to a different kind of dog. I'm just in love with him and the way his breed is. So, yeah, if you get a big dog, just make sure you do your research and like figure out, you know, the kind of temperament that you can and cannot deal with on dogs.
Yeah.
Because German Shepherds are great if you want to have kids, or you have a kid. Like, get a German Shepherd puppy and let that puppy grow up with your kid, because they're gonna be like attached to the hip.
That's very smart. I always, whenever we do end up having kids, I do want to have a puppy that grows up with the kid, because I understand how important that bond is.
Yeah, like, you could leave your kid with the German Shepherd and feel safe about doing it, you know what I mean? Like, not super young, but like, you could leave, you know, like a young kid at home with the German Shepherd and feel like they're pretty much babysat.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But I can speak to what you were talking about. Like, even the dogs I have, even though they're really small, they've always been such companions for me. Like, I've been through some shit, and there's never been a time where they haven't been by my side. They know when I'm sad. They'll snuggle up extra close next to me when I am.
They're intuitive, and dogs are crazy intuitive. Like, they can smell things, you know, they can smell better. I think their smell has a lot to do with it. Like, I don't know how much science there is behind that, but I feel like their sense of smell has a lot to do with it. And just like, obviously they pay attention to us. Like, we are their life, right? Yeah. When we stand up, they're watching us. When we go to the bathroom, they're watching us. When we feed them, they're watching us. So they're always watching us. When we leave,
they're waiting for us to come back.
Yeah, like, I could stand up and go to the door. Jackson knows before I even get to the door that he knows my intentions. He knows what I'm gonna do. So when he sees me not feeling good or not doing what he expects, like, he knows something's up. He knows when I'm upset. Just like you said, they're very intuitive.
So we've covered your body art. We've covered your streaming. We've covered Jackson. We've covered a lot of stuff, I feel like. But I want to go into something that I think is going to be kind of fun. I have about 10 questions here. And I'm going to give them to you in a rapid fire format. I want you to answer these as quickly as you can.
Oh god, okay.
None of them are overly deep. They're very simple questions. I just thought it'd be kind of cool and we could get some sort of general information about you. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, for sure. Yes, that's fair.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Favorite video game of all time?
Assassin's Creed.
Favorite board game of all time?
Monopoly.
You can only play one, and the other one you can never play again. Dead by Daylight or Apex Legends?
I'd play Dead by Daylight forever.
Most played song in your current music rotation?
Asthma by Riverkin.
Last really great movie or film you watched?
Ooh, the Queen's Gambit on Netflix, the show.
I've heard tremendous things about that. I need to get on that.
Yes.
What food are you craving right now?
Pecan pie.
Fair enough. It's Thanksgiving time. Pecan pies are in season.
Yeah.
Why isn't Cyberpunk out yet?
Oh my god, I don't know. I wish they would get this game out. I was so looking forward to playing it on the 19th. I pre-ordered it. Yeah. I already knew who I was, I was gonna be the street kid. I was ready to go, and then they delayed it again.
Well, hopefully early December we go into Night City and we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. There's all these new consoles coming out. They want to perfect it. Fine. But, like, get it done. Like, don't delay it again. If it's delayed after December, I'm gonna fucking flip tables.
I would have rather just not known the date. Like, I don't care if you have to leave it sort of in the air for multiple years. Just announce a date when you think you can meet that. But I understand. Right? With the pandemic, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, and like hyping it up like they did with Keanu Reeves and like all the commercials, and I'm like, God damn it! Release it when you say you're gonna release it then. Ugh.
Coffee or tea?
Ooh. Tea.
Is almond milk the best milk?
Almond milk is the best milk. I mean, not for everybody. Like, obviously, if you have a nut allergy, then, you know, you don't want to drink almond milk. But almond milk is definitely top of the list for me. I don't drink soy milk, but soy is actually really good for men. Men should drink more soy milk because it can help prevent prostate cancer, which is linked to testosterone. It helps keep your testosterone levels like at bay, which a lot of guys are like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm gonna grow boobs, but that's a myth. Like, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, soy milk is better for men than it is for women. So I always tell guys if I see them, like, get the soy milk with extra protein. Like, get that one. That's better than drinking cow's milk. It's better than drinking almond milk. Like, for men, that's better.
What is your favorite
TV
show right now? There's scientific
research for that. Shit. My favorite TV show. Like just in general, like right now.
Right now, one that's ongoing, one that every week you're like, I gotta watch that.
Oh shit. It's definitely Mandalorian.
Now, funny you say that, because I have not watched The Mandalorian, but even I know how much of an honor this has been to sit down and talk for like an hour with Baby Yoda.
I know. It's crazy.
I think it's been something. I think this has been really special, man. I don't know.
Oh yeah, this has been great. I can't believe we've been talking for an hour already.
I just love having people on here. I'm glad you took the time to sit with me.
Yeah, of course.
Each time, obviously, I'm still going to refine my format and get as comfortable as possible. And I'm just trying to make everything the best viewing and listening experience it can possibly be.
Definitely.
But I want to thank you, Lauren, so much for joining me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. And yeah, good luck to you and Halen's Haven. I can't wait to see the many more people that come through on Halen's Haven.
Dude, I've got people in mind, and if I can pull it off,
yeah, you can do it. I believe in you. You're gonna do great.
But if you want to follow Lauren, go to twitch.tv/LoveLaurenn That is LoveLaurenn. Same on Instagram, same on Twitter. Go check her out. Not saying this because she's here with me. Genuinely one of the best streamers I've ever seen.
Thanks, Halen. You're too kind. You're too kind.
But I want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank you guys for watching. And I will catch you guys very soon. Thank you.